RTD Live Talk, Monday, early edition. Excited to connect. Looking forward to find out what's on your radar. And I wanted to check in earlier today just because there's a lot of subjects worth touching on. And I couldn't help but pass by this fake Facebook outage. And then in the midst of all this, it looked like it's back up. But then again, there's just so many questions as to why now. And then, more importantly, the personal data that was allegedly sold off on some type of open forum puts more people's personal security at risk. So is Facebook actually beneficial? Yeah, for harvesting data, but not necessarily for the people. But anyway, curious to find out what you guys think. Curious to get your take on this. And so let me see. We're going to do another live stream later on this evening as well, because I have more than enough subject matter to touch on. Didn't want to cram it all into one live stream. So I figured I would just stream in, check in a little bit earlier, find out what's going on. And I think this is probably the first live stream of October. Yeah, because I didn't do one on Friday. So happy October to you guys. It's the fourth day. And man, it's going to be an interesting month, to say the least. But let's dive in. So as always, for those that are new to the community, want to welcome you and appreciate you for taking time to bless us with your presence. Curious to find out what's on your radar, what you guys been keeping an eye on. Lots of things to talk about. And then this whole Facebook situation, just the personal side of things. I think for myself, and I came across this earlier, when it went down, as well as Instagram and WhatsApp, I kind of felt a relief. It kind of felt good to not have those things up, because I'm assuming more people were forced to find other things to do with their time rather than just stroll up and down, posting a whole lot of fake nothingness. But anyway, we can talk about that as well as whatever else. So welcome to the live stream. And let me see here. Let me jump right into it. So we got Cold Dust says, not a single tear has been shed this day. For that, people rejoiced in the failure of Facebook. No, not rejoicing in the failure. I could care less. I mean, Facebook, as well as all these other social media platforms, they're designed for one purpose. And they've done a good job of that. They give you something free so that they can harvest your data, basically build a internet or a profile of your entire lifestyle, so they can sell back to you, as well as prepare us for the fourth industrial revolution of being able to track, trace, and monitor our every move. That's all this stuff is for. And so the fact that Facebook has been used as a weapon against us makes me feel kind of good that it went down. And I was actually hoping to stay down longer than what it did. But there's always hope. And let me see here. Ludo92 says, second feast of the trumpets. We got Project Yaris. We got Lewis says hello. We got Jojo checking in. We got Mark Carl Art checking in. It's NSA book. Yeah, and that's the thing. So everybody that's awake and aware know that the primary purpose of all these social media platforms is especially controlled by these publicly traded companies. At this point, they're all in bed with NSA and government. So they're all used as tools to spy on the American people. And of course, it's no coincidence that after that 60 Minutes whistleblower situation, that within a couple hours, there's a alleged hack, as well as whatever else happened. So still trying to dive into why that happened. But a lot of things to be concerned about, just because approximately, according to the information that was given out, over 1 billion people, personal information, number. Let me actually, I'll jump right into it. But this what caught my attention earlier. And I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. But here is a little disclosure TV. So I came across this afternoon, and I'm definitely like, we got to touch on this, just because it's not the first time. It won't be the last. But then again, it's some of the consequences or repercussions that people don't really consider, is that if this information, which is allegedly data of over 1.5 billion Facebook users, is being sold on a popular hacking related forum, data contains usernames, emails, phone numbers, locations, gender, and user ID. So with just the phone numbers, that's access to your phone. So they have all those techie type of attacks they can do. Your emails, you can get spammed up the wazoo. So between your name, your email, your number, that's more than enough information, I think, to probably really cause some damage. Because if this was a real sophisticated, hacking event, those people obviously know how to get to individual people if they need to. So just stuff to be concerned about. And this is the world we live in, where we are all our lives are based upon the internet and companies, and whether or not they have good enough security to protect your data. And that's why I think one of the benefits of this whole blockchain technology space is that there's ways that this is not a centrally controlled point of failure, i.e. in Facebook. So when I saw that, I knew it was worth touching on, because this is going to be used as it's already turned into a major distraction, in my opinion, to get us started for the month of October. And we have more than enough stuff on the way, including that, what is it, the Pandora Papers or whatever that is. So we're going to touch on that as well later on this evening. But let me see here. Sanjeev, if I'm not saying that incorrectly. Appreciate the love offer, my friend. Thank you for being a blessing. But I want to get your thoughts on this. And so let me share with you a couple other things that caught my attention. And let me just jump right in. So I didn't get a chance to watch this, but I knew it was happening, but I just didn't really care to really watch it, just because I know there's been some news about, I think it was Instagram that went before one of the committee hearings or whatnot. And they were questioning how Instagram, it catered towards playing with, I think it was young girls' emotions, causing a lot of mental damage. And so by this point, over the last year plus, where more people have been glued to their cell phones and to, entertainment gadgets such as this, it does a lot of damage for a lot of people. And I think it's pretty much shaped the world we're in now to where, even just thumbing through some of this article here, the lady who was, Francis, was talking about how the algorithms and how they literally they play upon people's emotions. And the primary reason that's a tool because it profits them and it keeps your attention on this site glued in. And so it goes into a lot of other things, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. If people actually, if you end up watching it, let me know, because I'm curious. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but 60 minutes shine some bad light on Facebook. Then the next day it goes down for how many? I think it was about maybe 5-6 hours, and no love lost. I'm not really caring too much, but it's just the fact that 1 billion people have been exposed. So just think about this in this world we live in, where it don't take much to really get to people. If it was a deliberate act or an attack on somebody, because with your cell phone number, as I mentioned before, your cell phone number, your email, and all that information, a lot more damage can be done. And so I saw some of the warnings that was put out there saying that don't be surprised if more people get spamming calls as well as spam emails. But think about this: how dangerous this is. We've seen more than enough hacking events, and I can't think off the top of my head, but there's some Israeli software comes to mind. And literally, it's one of those things where all it takes is you to open up an email. If you open up an email, bam, they have instant access to whatever device you open up on, and you don't even know it. That's how sophisticated this hacking stuff is nowadays. So with over 1 billion people's information exposed, I'd imagine out of those 1 billion people, there's probably a nice percentage of people that are probably celebrities, high net worth individuals or politicians. You never know who's sprinkled in between there. And so just right then and there, instant access to all your devices. And the sad part is we've been lured into thinking that having a smart home is the way to go, with the Ring doorbells and the smart cameras in your house, smart fridge, smart TV, everything's smart in your house. This 1 billion information is more than enough to get inside your house as well. So they can watch you outside your house, watch you in your house. So yeah, it's a lot bigger than what the media might paint this out to be. But yet here we are in this is the age we're in. Should we be surprised? Of course not. It's just interesting how this happened the first week of October amongst the Pandora Papers and stuff like that. So not a coincidence, a deliberate act. And of course, we're suspecting and expecting some type of event sometime soon because of the cyber polygon. So don't be surprised. But I would just want to say that, the phishing attacks. There we go. So yeah, definitely that's it. But it's one of those things where this is just one event, first week of October. Be ready for more. Be ready for more. And let's keep it moving. But anyway, so poor Zuckerberg, he loses 5.9 billion in a day. Oh, poor thing. But his net worth is $150 billion. And so I don't really think he's hurting much, but I'm sure he'll be willing to sacrifice this. So my question is this a attack against him and his entity? Is this a false flag event, or is this like a real a grassroots style hacking event against Facebook to expose them for all of this, which also puts our country at great risk as well, for whatever that's worth, because Facebook happens to be a part of the whole FANG stocks. And so as we saw today, the S&P did a nice little dip this week, and all the tech stocks happen to sell off as well. So starts out the weeks with a sell-off, and of course everybody, I'm seeing more and more of the Robert Kiyosaki's interview last week talking about October being the great crash. So a lot of mainstream news sources is pumping that up. Lets me know that they want more fear, more panic out here, probably heading into this whole negotiation of which Biden basically told Republicans to get out of the way. Let us create these trillions. But anyway, S&P fell 1.3%. Dow Jones slipped 0.9%, Facebook down 5%, Twitter was down, Snapchat was down, you name it. Apple was down, Amazon was down. And so our country is built upon technology and the tech sector. So wherever it goes, our nation goes. So do you think the government will have to step in and try to figure out some way to regulate even more and try to, who knows? Maybe anyway, I just wanted to bring this to the forefront early just because I think it's worth touching on. But yet the greater concerns is the risk that the 1.5 billion people who are now exposed possibly to whoever out there on the internet that could definitely find a way into your life somehow through your phone, your internet, or anything like that. So, but anyway, man, let's. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. There's all types of subjects. We won't be long today just because we got our live stream at 9:30. But I did want to check in and get some thoughts. So feel free to talk. Let's talk. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Thinking about doing more of the just shorter live stream segments just to get some thoughts, get more callers in. So if you guys are interested, if you want to, give me a call. The phone lines are open. We'd love to hear what's on your radar, what's on your mind. And of course, there's more subjects. We can touch on more of them, but I don't want to bog you guys down with it too much. But I see some thoughts out here. It says, imagine you participated for your job and then laid off a few days later. Yeah, we can go down that rabbit hole too, man. A lot of people will be mad regardless. And so it's going to require an overall adjustment to how you handle life. That's all. And depending on how you look at it, it can be a blessing because it's going to force a lot of people to take a lot of responsibility upon themselves, which they've advocated to so many other entities, i.e. placing your entire livelihood, present and future, in the hands of a single individual or company exposes you to just having a single source of income is dangerous, and people are going to find out that. But it also is going to force people to have to cut on get those creative juices flowing on figuring out how they can get back out here and be productive ultimately. So and then I just saw on the NBA side of things, it looks like Andrew Wiggins, who last week put up a good front in regards to not wanting to participate because of his religious beliefs, I think. But then all of a sudden, I saw reports over the weekend saying that he's participating. And out of the 600 or so NBA players, basketball, for those that may not know, that's one of my my first passions there, and so I follow it somewhat relatively. Don't watch it as much, but watching these videos on the alternative side, I actually posted one in the Telegram, and it's from Dr. Malone and some German immunologists out there, and they're spitting some real alternative knowledge, and basically saying that ADE and all that stuff that has been brought up here before, how by the more people that participate, the more at risk those who have not participated will be, because the ultimate conduit for more of this pandemic to continue to increase is through those that participate. And I'm thinking about all the reports that are coming out now of young individuals, men, women, you name it, but I'm seeing more predominantly in the men having heart issues and having strokes, and actually posted an article in the Telegram as well talking about more people. I think there's a 25% increase over the summer of heart attacks, like young, relatively healthy people having heart attacks. And of course, all those people participated. So it's like, think about from a sports standpoint, you got all these young athletes in great shape, not really in danger from any type of viruses out there that they couldn't beat naturally. But now they're going to put their life on the line to where they might end up having lung, heart type issues, which, it's going to be tragic, man. And of course, we all know that this is being set up for this winter when the season change and all the things that come with that, how it's going to be issues. So, but that's just where we at, people. That's where we at. But I'm curious to get you guys' thoughts. What do you think about this Facebook? So it looks like Facebook is back up, I'm hearing. And Will you use it the same? Do you feel as comfortable using Facebook? And based upon how they've been censoring and curtailing all the information from people speaking their version of truth, do you even mess with Facebook like that? I'm curious to hear what you guys think, because I know myself over the last let me see, about 4 or 5 years. I remember I got on Facebook 2008, 9, I think it was 2010 or something like that. And over the last 5 years, or no, 6 years actually, of doing Rethinking a Dollar, I literally use social media the way that the way they look to use me. And so once I realized that social media itself, all these platforms that are free, the sole way they make money is to basically harvest your data and use you as a product to then sell your information to make money off of you. I'm thinking, like, why would I continue to post my memories of my family and all my greatest memories on this platform for them to try to market back to me? So I literally share nothing but social media stuff that I want to use to inform people, to wake people up, rather than share my own personal life, just because I don't like being sold to. I'd rather do the selling. That's just me. But so yeah, use these platforms and don't let them use you. Jimmy says, I feel the same way. F Facebook. Bernard said Facebook is still down. Okay, so I'm assuming it's scattered in between. What about Instagram? Is that still down? And WhatsApp? Yeah, once I found out WhatsApp was not as secure as they made it seem, or the way it initially started, I dropped it. And of course, if you go to, let me actually pull this up here. It looks like Twitter, Twitter and Facebook, or Twitter and Signal have been making fun of Instagram all day long. And so it's funny to see how, let me see, I'm going to pop this up real quick. And then, so literally just go to Facebook or to Twitter, and it's everywhere. But it's interesting, all these jokes and how they're using all types of memes. And like this one right here is Mr. Bean. This is comedy. Shows, yeah, so this is interesting, man. Anyway, curious to get your thoughts, man. What do you guys think, man? You guys want to talk? If not, we can dial back. It won't gonna be long. I just want to check in real quick, get some thoughts, share my 2 cents. But the greater risk happens to be the data that's probably in the hands of whoever knows right now. So don't be surprised if your phone start ringing from some mysterious numbers. Don't answer, because if you answer, they might be able to get access to your phone, and therefore all your personal information and everything else. You get some fake emails, you better not open it, because there goes your stuff. Let me see. Rib says 40% of Facebook is bots. I don't doubt it. David, ICIJ is Soros controlled. No doubt. And then once again, we're going to touch on that more later tonight. But once again, how can you not, pay attention to that? Just because how interesting is that to be thrown out here on a Saturday, Sunday, to be a freshly created website with all these, 600 reporters been collaborating behind the scenes with all this information. And it's about primarily a lot of foreign, diplomats and politicians and celebrities. And most of the stuff that they're trying to funnel around is done. What currencies are done in? It's all done in fiat Federal Reserve notes. And then they want to say that, Bitcoin is used for money laundering. And, okay, yeah, those people have been smuggling Federal Reserve notes, the most utilized counterfeit / criminal activity currency on the planet. But yet all those individuals, all that's going to be used as an excuse for this infrastructure bill, because of those 2 or 3 different pieces of legislation within that bill, which are designed to push this whole increased tax, as well as to diminish the transparent, or to create transparency in taxing the wealthy, trying to get all those untaxed, as Biden would say, to have the rich pay their fair share. So you better believe Bernie Sanders going to jump on this, Elizabeth Warren going to jump on this, and Biden all these puppies going to jump on that, because they can say that we see how there's been, I think it was 1.7 or some type of $1.7 trillion or something out there that's being funneled through all types of ways. Those are legal tax loops that have been created for the wealthy, that they've been using for decades, 100 years. And all of a sudden now, when the United States government needs an extra 1.9, 3.5, or how many ever trillion, does those papers come to light, as if anybody really truly give a damn. That's the problem. Nobody really truly gives a damn. More people are concerned, if they were paying attention to what would be the most important thing to pay attention to, would be the deliberate withholding of all those cargo ships that's surrounding the world right now. The fact that, regulatory policy as well as a direct attack on the supply chain itself. It's not just no bottleneck where, it happens to be a mistake. It's a deliberate attack to starve out the American people as well as European people, you name it. This is a part of their deliberate destruction plan to bring in more hurt and more pain heading into this winter. So it puts the politicians in a better position to be able to say, we need this legislation. People are hurting. We need all these funds to be spent for them. That's what all this is about. But it's just interesting to see it as it unfolds. And so one thing I noticed, just on my part, just trying to, pay attention to more things, really try to stay ahead of the curve somewhat as best I can, and really focusing on getting my calories up. And so, of course, preparatory type stuff, all types of foods, anything you do normally, do a little bit more. And you probably want to do more than you normally do. And so I was trying to figure out all the categories of things worth continuing to talk about. And so, of course, you got your lead, you got your calories. I'm ranting just because, phone been ringing. I apologize. But I got more stuff that I want to talk about. Anyway, hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
Social media, the way that they use.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi there. Can you mute the computer or mute the phone?
All these platforms are free. I can't hear you.
Yeah, can you mute the phone? Mute the computer? Hello?
No, I'm not on the computer right now.
Oh, there you go.
I noticed you were talking about the heart attacks and that.
Yes, sir. First of all, what's your name, if you don't mind? Where are you calling from?
Phil. I'm from Connecticut.
Phil from Connecticut. What's going on, Phil? Heart attacks. What's up?
Well, I saw a thing on this Dr. Campbell from the UK, and he said that the danger with the two, the Pfizer and the Moderna, is that the manufacturers said that the injections had to go into a muscle, and the CDC and the WHO told the people given the shots not to do it, because what they're supposed to do is they inject into your shoulder muscle, and they're supposed to aspirate, pull back on the syringe a little bit.
Yeah.
And if it gets blood into it, then that means they're into a vein. They're supposed to throw that one away and try again, because if they inject straight into your bloodstream, that's where you get the problem with the heart attacks.
Okay, so I wasn't aware with that, but thanks for sharing that. And so that's for those that are wanting to participate or whatnot, and that's, I guess, something you might want to be aware of. But it's dangerous.
The problem is the manufacturers, Pfizer and Moderna, said do not inject it into a blood vessel. You have to aspirate it and do it into a muscle to make sure. And the CDC and the WHO blew that off, because they said, oh, well, it might hurt people a little bit more.
Yeah, they've been blowing off a lot of things, especially the fact that I think the little board said that for the boosters it was 16-2 that they shouldn't do it, and of course they were overridden by the head of the FDA. So I don't really give them people much credit these days, because they're bought and paid for, so they got an agenda, unfortunately.
Yeah, they do. So if you get a chance, you can. This is on YouTube. The guy's name is Campbell. His last name. Yeah. He's a doctor from the UK.
All right, I will check it out. Appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for calling in.
All right, take care.
Yeah, be good. Just a little information there worth being aware of. So just one of many things worth talking about. But David says they say the Panama Papers are informative. They don't tell you Mossack will foresee leads to in London. Okay, on to Centrum. Okay. Okay, owned by Rothschild. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff in there, a lot of detail in there. Owned by the Rothschild. Okay, so that's another great point. So none of the details from basically all the 2 or 3 articles I scanned through, none of the details are really truly informative. They're only geared upon the first layer of puppets that have taken, 20 million, 20 billion, 20. I mean, it's all, the millions, of course, but nowadays millions are not really what they used to be when you have buku guys in the billions and governments looking to pass trillions. So, the the nominal number doesn't really, blow my mind the way it used to. Of course, I'm nowhere near all those numbers, but still. But to your point about owned by the Rothschilds. So none of the people that was exposed from any of the politicians or whatever, they're all, as I say, first layer puppets. But then again, they're deliberately put out in the light because they're expendable. Like they're people that can be thrown under the bus because they are a sacrifice basically for an agenda. So once again, but well before today's Facebook, I was going to talk about those papers just because that would have been what I was anticipating being the first false distraction of the October leading to the many other things we're going to experience this month. And it's all designed to keep our attention off of other events. They never want us to focus solely on the health side of things and what they're doing to people. And of course, the governmental situation, Biden's out here talking about he can do this, without Republicans. Sure, go ahead and do what you got to do. He'll come down to about 2 trillion, no longer need 3.5, but he'll negotiate with them type of thing. And so all that stuff he's talking about, the overwhelming majority of the people are for that. And then on another note, I forgot to mention that this week, Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve, they're going to come out with their white paper for the consumer to have it, to get consumer feedback. So we're going to talk about that because once they put up some type of forum, that's going to be the time where we just, as the alternative media especially, we bombard their websites with why we don't want a CBDC. We don't need a CBDC. What we should probably tell them is that we need more options. We need gold, silver to be utilized and recognized as lawful money. And then on top of that, just for the sake of laughs and giggles, bring back the United States notes. That'll be something worthwhile because those are still legal tender instruments. So I want options. I don't want to be narrowed down to where cash eventually is taken away from me, either through hyperinflation or some type of cashless society push to where we're just stuck with a dang CBDC. And then, of course, you'd use alternative stuff, but we want options. So I want to try to find out what their approach will be when it comes time to release those papers. And I want to encourage everybody to go bombard their servers, telling them we don't want a CBDC. And, of course, they're not going to listen. Just the fact they're trying to get consumer, sentiment is just a bunch of hocus pocus. But, more importantly, Mark, great point, junk silver. Constitutional silver, your average nickels, dimes, and quarters. Put some silver back in our coinage. That's the best way that we could be free from the monetary beast. But don't hold your breath. It's just, for show for now. Adam says, Mike, I think all players have been already dealt with. This is all optics globally. Why? To gently wake up the sleepers. Otherwise, civil unrest everywhere. Adam, that's a good point there, and that's definitely something that's possible. So here's my only thing with that. It's all optics, no doubt. It's all political theater in its greatest form. And all these events clearly are not coincidental. They're intentional. So these are a part of their distraction tactics. But then again, to gently wake up the sleepers, otherwise civil unrest everywhere. And so I think, unfortunately, civil unrest is coming regardless. And as I mentioned beforehand, the supply chain, by them seizing up the supply chain intentionally, that right there will lead to shortage of everything, which will create the chaos leading to civil unrest. And so I think the whole supply chain situation, of course, the mainstream media telling us that, by this holiday shopping, it's going to be hard. And they're setting up framework for more desperation, more destruction, more just complete. They're destabilizing things at every form, every facet. So therefore, they want civil unrest. And I think they probably want it definitely by spring. So give or take this next 3 months of this year, they're going to try to hopefully balance out this system and not lose control of it completely, because at any minute, I'm watching as, the China situation and all the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th other developing companies underneath them who are all invested in Evergrande, how they're all interconnected. So that can be an issue there. Then, of course, Taiwan is still a hot zone. China's putting pressure on them. You name it, man. There's more than enough events. So I think the goal is to try to get through the rest of this year if they can. Into next year, who knows what the hell going to happen next year. But stuff is just out there, man. So we got some thoughts out there. So people say I can't post on Facebook. And then we got Facebook is trash. Blackouts in China. Oh, yeah. So that's a whole nother issue as well. And so I saw some comments on that. And it looks like a lot of that or not a lot, but enough of that has to do with just the whole push to try to talk about going green, no carbon emissions, to where they might have shut down some coal plants or whatnot. And because they're not trading as well as they used to with Australia, majority of their coal comes from Australia. And so I saw a video earlier that they're still getting their coal from Australia, but they're diverting it to Vietnam to China to make it look like that they're, mad at Australia for all the, stuff that's happened over the last couple of months. So that's just one more event that could possibly be the case. But anyway, yeah, so Facebook, man. And for those that are just plugging in, my whole point is just talking about this, whether it's up or down, doesn't matter. All they're doing is harvesting your data. They use you, and hopefully you guys use them. And so all my business people, all my entrepreneurs, bombard Facebook with all your information, hopefully trying to educate and be a blessing to other people. Don't just post all your family and your personal information out there as if like somehow, some way, a good majority of your followers or subscribers actually care about your personal life like that. I just hate the fact how Facebook has turned into fake book. There's so many people out there, they only post what they want the world to see, and none of it is really true, unfortunately. Or if it's true, it's a watered down version of it. So when Facebook went down or still down or whatever, I feel kind of relieved just because I'm thinking like, wow, that frees up somebody's time to go spend time and invest in something or do something, read a book or something like that, rather than just using your fingers, man. We've been conditioned to use our fingers too much, get nothing done while they just basically lie to us and profit off of our attention span. But anyway, that's all she wrote, people. I just want to check in real quick. We're going to be back at it 9:30 tonight. Bring a topic, tell a friend, and join us then. Other than that, I will see you guys this evening. If you enjoyed this little live stream real quick, hit the thumbs up button. Let me know if you guys want to connect in sooner, just to get in more topics throughout the day, just to keep people in tune as to what's going on, man. That's the goal. So anyway, see you guys later. Peace. Visit Rethinking the Dollar throughout the day, your place for news on metals, gold, crypto, you name it. Scroll down to the bottom and you get a chance to see the daily videos, the recommended videos, and more importantly, the 5 reasons to unplug from the monetary matrix, with the first one being the awakening period. Step number 1, test your dollar IQ. 10 simple questions, average is 60%. Follow up with the alternative perspective with the monetary reports. Consider becoming a supporter of the Rethinking the Dollar platform via Patreon. Get a chance to hang out off air as well as additional information that can't be discussed on YouTube. Any support is helpful. With the crackdown on alternative media, the best thing to do is to connect off air. Scroll down to the very bottom. You can find Rethinking the Dollar on Telegram, audio, Facebook, Twitter, Parler, you name it. The most important ones will be the email list where you can get notified weekly, the Discord page, and make sure you connect on Telegram. And last, don't forget to visit the RTD store where you can get merchandise as well as additional information and resources. And most importantly, scroll down to the bottom and get your weight up with all the limited edition rounds only available on the RTD store.